Recording. So welcome to our book club. This is chapter 15, one of my favorites, Giving, What It's All About. And I think everybody in this book club is pretty much in our organization where we do network marketing, creating residual income, financial freedom. Oftentimes when I ask people, every single time I introduce someone and they tell me that they want to build this thing, for residual income and financial freedom, whenever I ask them why, and I'm getting clear on why they want to do this, every single time it's like because we're natural, we love to give, we love to serve, we love to give. And I really do love that. And I think that humans and humanity, I'm so inspired, when you hear a lot of stories of the way people give. I mean, my mom's probably the number one giver that I know. We'll tell her to a fault, right? Because she'll give until she has no more to give. But that's just what humans that we do and how we love. And so I love this chapter. And there's a few parts that I have highlighted that really excited me. But I want to just see if anybody else wants to talk. So you guys just raise your hand if you want to talk. But I love it. It says, develop giving as a habit, something you do naturally without even having to think about it. This makes you into a consistent and persistent giver, and the universe will work with you. Give spontaneously. Work on the habit of giving until you get to the point where you enjoy giving and enjoy it thoroughly. Right? Because giving, if we're creating animosity of it, that's no good. But if we can enjoy giving, and I know Tony Robbins really builds his, whole thing around giving. And if you want, he says, if you desire something, give it away first. He says that too. Is there anybody that wants to talk or speak on anything that they read in this chapter? Miss Stephanie? Oops. Hold on. All right, you're unmuted.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm back. You're back. We're back. Yay. Yeah, this was an awesome chapter, but I think my favorite part is at the top of page 170, where he talks about give graciously and receive gratefully. And grace and gratitude are the energizing factors of giving and receiving. And so it totally reminded me of that law of cause and effect. So you can ignite the reception of things by giving. And that concept really kind of just struck me as really interesting. So I even wrote at the very top of my page, gratitude equals giving and grace equals receiving. So, and really oddly enough, we talked about gratitude today in one of my church classes. And I was like, why is it so important? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a universal law, people.
What would you say?
So I got to share that with them.
What did you say about gratitude and grace? Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, gratitude equals giving, while grace equals receiving. It's that whole flow of the law of cause and effect in action. So you can ignite the receiving end of that energy by giving first. So you're in complete control of it. It's like you're responsible. That response that you generate to give opens you up to receive grace and opens you up to receive the other blessings that are coming at you. And of course, the really, really huge lesson for me is was in 172, and we covered this at Bliss. Lenny covered this really well at Bliss on the second day there, when he said, you don't expect a reward from the same source that you gave. That is still kind of impacting me. I still have to remind myself sometimes, because I keep thinking, especially for me as a mom, because I serve my family. I serve my family, and I try to keep that mindset where I give cheerfully, and I serve and I serve and I serve. Sometimes I'm like, hello, people, come on, can you serve back some, And so now I'm like, let it go. just serve, just give. So I actually wrote it on my mirror, give cheerfully, in the top corner. So every morning in my bathroom mirror, I see give cheerfully. So yeah, so that's the one that's really sinking deep. It's taking its time, but it's getting in there.
Honestly, I mean, that's a powerful thing, and I think that like we should touch on that. And I'm gonna read it. If you guys want to read it with me, it's on page 172, the very last one underneath the I am wealth, I'm abundance, and a joy. And this is what Steph was just talking about, but it says that it is okay to think and to know that when you give, you get back something from the universe. We don't have to pretend that we are not interested in receiving a reward for giving. Expecting reward is good. In fact, expecting a reward empowers that reward to come to you. You only violate the law of giving when you expect to receive something back from the same being you give it to, saying, well, I did this for you, so you do this for me. In fact, demanding a particular reward back is violation of universal law. It focuses your mind on trading rather than on cheerful and free giving. Never ask for or expect payback from those you give to. The universe, the reward you receive comes from a source and at a time in a form that the universe finds it best suited for you. That also reminds me of like Wayne Dyer when it talks about there is joy in the world and there is woe in the world. Man was made for joy and woe. And this we rightly know. And he talks about when we go and we're saying that, oh, things should be happening this way, or, the poverty in the world, or we're feeling so bad, or we're saying all these horrible things, these hurricanes, these floods. When we go there, we're saying that we know better than Source knows. We know better than God knows, which is really an insidious thing to do. So I love that chapter that when we do good in the world, I did a post the other day, do good in the world and you do good in this world, right? It comes back to us fully sevenfold. I tell you, I randomly made a donation the other day and it was a very hefty donation, and literally the next day something came back to me sevenfold exactly. And it was so fun to see it. But I know that when I give, it's like it automatically comes back to you. And how fun to be in that state of giving. It doesn't have to be money. It can be with our time, our love, our ear. It doesn't have to be about money when we talk about giving. But it's so fun to get into that notion, or that whole pay it forward method, or, and a lot of times, if you go and you just pay for someone's dinner out and about, or send random flowers to people, or balloons, or I know Peta Kelly has a thing where she just likes to send wacky balloons to random people, right? Like just balloons make people happy, right? So just to send random balloons. So that's super exciting. Just that knowing that sevenfold. I love this chapter. So that's an awesome share, stuff.
Thanks.
I have that all highlighted in my book, that part about.
Mine's like all underlined and double underlined. Good.
Take a step for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Miss Melody, you are unmuted. Miss Vasquez.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, Casey, it's so good seeing you. Anyway, thank you for all your shares on Facebook, by the way.
For sure.
I feel like I'm journeying with you. On page 173, the trick to giving is not to force it upon those you give to. Offer your gift freely and cheerfully. Oh my gosh. Show your hand, don't shove. Oh my gosh. I used to get so offended if I wanted to give somebody something and they didn't take it, and I'd go, well, you're going to take away my blessing. And I like really perversed it. Like, you've got to take it. And then all of a sudden you go down, the recipient does not wish to take your gift. Respect that cheerfully. Do not be offended. F, your gift is not accepted. And I guess I was like on a shove mentality. And after I read this chapter like about 4 times. Truly, this whole chapter is highlighted in my book. And so anyway, there's so much more to it than, because we take some of their worth away. My concept was we take some of their worth away if we, force it on them, and we don't let them have freedom of choice. And we need to do that. So it was an eye-opener. It was definitely an aha moment.
I love that too. Because I guarantee you're not the only person that had an aha with that either. At all. That is very, very profound. Because then it is. We can respect it cheerfully if they don't want it. There's nothing wrong with that for sure. I love that, Millie. And you look amazing. You are rocking your health transformation.
I know. I weigh on Tuesday. I'm so excited, and I joined Body Challenge. I'm like so excited. I mean, I joined Body Challenge yesterday. I'm like, hey, it's crazy. Awesome. 50 pounds.
50 pounds. That is
so excited, and you guys and all your support. Oh, my love to you guys. You guys bring tears to my eyes when you Facebook me. It's just like awesome. Thank you.
Well, we are rooting for you. We love you, and it's just so awesome to watch your transformation. So
thank you.
Mind, body, and soul. Isn't that fun?
Fun. And now I'm talking to people about business because I'm a person of integrity. I walk the walk that I talk.
There you go. That's what's up. Love it.
Thank you. Bless you.
Well, we got Miss Vasquez now. Let me get there. Yes, Miss Vasquez.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. I'm going to tell you all that I'm a giver. And it didn't really shock me reading this chapter because that's my nature, just to give blindly. To the point that if I receive, as you, Melody, or you, Stephanie, I really feel weird to even receive a compliment, to even receive appreciation. And it's okay to receive, to balance. So, and I remember as a child, my godfather will always want Mexican pesos. He will always give us 10 Mexican pesos, which today will be $20. And I will like, no. I give you whatever it is, my love, whatever, visit you because I want to. And I remember he said that if someone gives you something, it's because it's coming from their heart. Don't you ever say no, because then you're breaking their heart. So just embrace it and enjoy it. So I did to a certain point, but this reminds me what I love about this chapter when you give and that you're going to receive is not necessarily from whomever you're giving, right? But then the universe, God, is giving you back in different ways. And my mom, for me, she's a great example of that, because she, in somehow one way, she will give $100, $200, $300, $500. She doesn't work, and all of a sudden she's like, here, somehow, somewhere, will receive it back. So that was an amazing reminder to balance the cause and effect, and that also not only to give, but then also to give back. And that, as you, Casey, that amazing experience you received because you gave, the universe compensated you in a different way, and it paid you back. So it wasn't as shocking for me, but then it was also a lesson to remind me that it's okay to receive as well. And it's still a process. It's still a huge process. I'm still in a resistance, which is an amazing journey for me, because right now I'm really, really applying and learning the law of non-resistance before I can even talk about it. So this is one of the huge lessons, to not resist what it is that you're receiving or what you're giving, and why it is that you're resisting it. There's a huge lesson in there, deep, deep inside of us. So I know it's okay. I now say thank you, even though my mind wants to say, oh, but this, but that, but no, thank you. But that's what I learned from this chapter, and I have not highlighted comparing to the way I have the rest of the chapters. And this one is like, oh my God, why am I resisting this this chapter, and that's the reason why. Because for me, it's easy to give. Oh yeah, I'll stop it right now and I'll give it to you. What is it that you need? So that was my aha moment. That it's not necessarily from physical, but then God will give it back to me, or the universe, or the angels.
Absolutely, without a shadow of doubt. And I mean, that is such a common thing, is that, you know, even in our business, right? Like I know that I work with a lot of people, and it's the fact of receiving compensation from what it's doing. Or like in sales, it's like, why I don't know if I feel worthy or deserving of taking someone's money. Well, first off, we're not taking nobody's money. The company does that, right? I don't ever see a dime from nobody. I don't know about y'all, but I ain't never seen nothing from nobody on the fact of giving somebody the products, right? So you have that, but then it's like, just to really, like, we are giving somebody the greatest gift in the world. And so to be able to receive a form of compensation from that, we should be proud of that and looking forward to that, and not feeling guilty or bad. It's such a thing, and from society, and it's better to give than to get. It's better to give than to get. It's better to give than to get, you know, that's such a thing that's ingrained. But, you know, giving from a cheerful place, just because it brings joy to you, is one thing. But then when we don't have that balance of that receiving, you know, or we don't expect that we should receive great things back from it, because, you know, it is to expect is to receive. And the working with the law, it talks about that. There's a chapter where he goes into to expect is to receive, because when you expect something, you receive it. But like, I love how he so clearly pointed out, expect it, but don't demand the source of where it's going to come, or think it's from the same source, because then you're breaking the law. So many laws are being broken, and that especially the law of LNR, you know, right there. So that's a beautiful share, Ms. Vasquez, and you are a giver, and we love you. All right, let's see, Mr. Chris.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great. Fabulous.
I'm feeling resistance to share this, and so what I'm learning is that I have to share this for me. So where this goes, and if you get something out of it, I hope you do, but just know that I'm getting something out of it. If nothing, it's going to be a growth moment for me. I'm an alcoholic in recovery, and so when I read things like this, that part of my life, it encompasses so much of my life, that when I read something like this, it just kind of brings me back to what I learned getting sober. And before I got sober, giving was the furthest thing from my mind. It was all about me, and take. And in order to, when you get sober, they say in order to keep it, you have to give it away. And I can remember when that first happened for me, that I thought, how am I ever going to find the time? It was like, God, what a time leech this is going to be on me. And but I had to do it. And so I started, and it became a pattern for me. And one of the things that I do is that I go to a detox center every Monday morning at 9:30, and I give an hour of my time, and I talk to people about, tell them that they don't have to live like that, and give them an answer. And I don't get, I get a lot of resistance when I'm there a lot of times, and I get a lot of sick people. And I walk out of there knowing I'm grateful because I get to leave, and I get to live my life. And I don't know if I'm helping people necessarily. And I had this one situation where I was at a meeting, and I walked out, and I went to the bathroom. I walked out of the bathroom, and there was a line of men, and I thought they were waiting for the bathroom. And they weren't waiting for the bathroom. They were waiting to say hello to me. And they were all men with varying lengths of sobriety that I had met in the detox center that I had spoken to, and they thanked me. And there was about, 5 or 6 of them. And I cried. And obviously it was a touching moment for me. So I know that law works. What I struggle with sometimes is that here I give and I receive these things. If I didn't do what I do to stay sober and give this, then I wouldn't have. I've gotten so many gifts in life that I get to live the life that I have today. But it always goes back to, when's my money going to show up? That's what this part in my brain says. You know, I have a tendency to push these other things aside and say, yeah, that's really nice, but where's the money? And so, like I say, I wrestle with that. And it's coming slowly but surely. It's all, you know, and like I say, that I know that this law works. I'm walking, living example that it works. And there are so many things in life that are so much more important than money. So I don't know. That. I just needed to say that, and I hope somebody got something out of it. I know I feel better, and so thanks for being here to listen to me.
You just moved the hearts of every single one of us on here. I guarantee you that. And that is, I see a comment. I think we all struggle with that, Chris. No doubt that is something that we all, and I think too that there's a difference, you know, when because how we look at what wealth is, or how, you know, we equate so much of it with money. But how, like, what he talks about too in the book is, I love it where he's talking about you know, wealth consciousness not really even being money. Right? Like, money's just kind of this thing that we're using. Money's the complete illusion, you know. The only $4 out of 100 is even truly even real anyways, monetary. So this whole illusion of money. But the more that we step into that feeling, and that you have that wealth feeling, I mean, the fact that those grown men moved you to cry because you knew that you had changed their life, and that they possibly are going to be the ones coming back to do that same thing and pay it forward. I mean, that is so much more, that is a feeling that money cannot give us right there, truly. And to stay in there. And I think that there's so many different ways that we can fill that wealth of just being happy and experiencing joy in life. And that's such a beautiful reminder that it isn't all about money. You know, you're giving your time, which is ultimately, in my book, more precious and valuable than money too. You know, our time. I mean, that is something, to be able to give your time like that is such an incredible thing. To me, it's more powerful than for somebody who has money to just write a check, you know, to be taking that time. So no doubt about it, the universe is rewarding you, and it's going to come to you right at the perfect time, just like this book says, right? The universe in a form that it finds it best suited for you. So thank you for that share. You moved us all. You have impacted every single person on this call. I loved what you said too, that you were feeling like you wanted to share it, desired to share it, but almost were going to be nervous about sharing it. So then you knew you had to share it. That's a growth moment. That's so exciting. I love growth moments. Oh, that was awesome. All right. We got Miss Kay in the house, and then Miss Stephanie. Miss Kay's back with us.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
I miss you guys so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're in a different background. You're in a gym.
I am. You know what? Like, at the last minute, I was like rushing to make sure that I could get on the call, and this was the nearest quiet room I could get to. Because I was like, oh shit, I told them I would be there tonight. So, yes. So I'm so happy to be talking with you. First of all, Chris, just awesome. Thank you so much for sharing so authentically from your heart. Always a blessing to us all when you do that. And I raised my hand listening to Miss Cindy, and the beautiful share that she did just spurred so many. I just heard things bubbling up in my spirit. And one of them, because receiving is such an important part of being able to really grow into our abundance, right? That has been a huge, I would say, one of the most impactful lessons for me is learning how to receive. And, you know, something that I have found is so important in grasping the ability to receive is understanding that self-love is one of the greatest things that we can receive. You know, when we really realize that as much as we feel compelled to give to others, that we first need to pour that into ourselves, because this is the way that I think of it, and honestly, and this is the way that I live, period. When my cup runneth over, I share of it freely. But if it's half full, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. Like, really and truly, you know, the me, I know the me that is totally living from the over. And I'll tell you, this is the truth. At least I would say, and this is a very humble 90%, but I would say 90% of the time I am living from the overflow. And when I say that, I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, like, you know, I'm there and I'm on it, right? But in that 10%, if I'm not this K, I'm perfectly fine going into my room, shutting my door, being spoiled, doing however it is that I need to be filled up, you know. And that's so important, because like you said, like Casey said, we do hear, you know, oh, it's better to give than to receive. It's better to give than to receive. And the thing is that, but we have to give to ourselves first. If I don't totally do whatever I need to do to have myself on the highest vibration possible, I can't share with other people how to do that, how to have that. I can't share abundance if that's not the space that I'm living in. So if I'm not in that space, then I need to be nurtured. I need to give to me, you know? So that's a really, really important thing. And I think that we can become really comfortable with that when we realize that, honestly, that the creator of the universe absolutely adores you. Like, the creator of the universe absolutely adores you, and it's the creator of the universe's great pleasure to give you the keys to the kingdom, whatever it is you desire. And when you realize that, like, how adored you are, how beloved of God you are, man, you don't feel bad about receiving anything, because, you know, it's just like, thank you. Thank you. You know? I mean, really, seriously, sometimes people will take it as like you're not, like, I've seen people who even have issues even receiving like a compliment. You know, let me tell you, when people give me compliments, oh my God, I never take them for granted. I'm absolutely always delighted, but I never feel like I don't deserve it. I do exactly that. Thank you. Because I gladly, like, that blesses me, and I know that I'm continuously going to circulate that good, right? But I need that. I need all of the good that comes to me in all of the amazing ways that it does for me to be able to be my best self and share it with the world. And that's true for all of us. So, you know, I think that when we realize that how we get to receive is actually it's a beautiful cycle of how we get to share. I think that takes some of the resistance off of it. And then, Chris, something that you were saying, oh my God, where my money at? I so feel you. I have been there. And let me tell you, when I was in that space, I would constantly go to that. What I would constantly do is I would say, what do I need to do in order for my money to come? What do I need to do? What do I need to do different? What do I need to, okay, what, you know, just what do I need to do? And then I'm trying, you know, and then it's like not realizing that that whole positioning is actually creating resistance. Because what I'm saying is that I'm not trusting the process. I'm not trusting that actually abundance is automatically flowing for me. So I need to do all these things to get it to flow. Well, really, if what I'm affirming is true, if I am wealth, if I am abundance, if everything is already working out for my good, then what I need to do is continue to be my best self and do what I'm doing. Absolutely learn and see the things that I need to learn will come to me, right? That's why we're all blessed with great mentors and teachers and processes and procedures and all of that, right? But understanding that it is already flowing over and over and over again. As I would be doing that, I heard God say to me, and this was so powerful for me, like I've written it in my journals, it's like a mantra of mine now. I would hear God say to me clearly, "Okay, I don't want you to focus on the money. I want you to focus on the abundance. I want you to focus on the abundance." And every time that I would do that, I would all of a sudden see the plenty that was already present for me. That while I was sitting here, whining internally about this money that I felt was not coming fast enough, guess what? My daughter and I have lived in an abundance of everything that we would need and want. Not once have we gone without anything. Not once. I mean, it's like, oh my God, I see. Y'all know I moved to LA now. And for Friday night, for the first time, I drove down what is known as Skid Row and saw these people like, oh my God, they're so creative in making their homes out of these sheets and tents and blankets and boxes and stuff. And I'm like, really? Hey, how dare you whine about anything? How dare you not see the absolute wealth that is our lives? And not to be funny, y'all, but if we live in America, we are so wealthy. We're so abundant. And being able to see that, we have so much love in our lives. We have so much, you know what? We have too much, really. We have so much that we don't even appreciate the stuff that we have. There are people that, man, wish that they could afford a book to buy to learn about these laws that we're talking about. And I'm sharing all of this not to be like, this person who's, like focusing on the negative in the world, but I think just to always shift our perspective to see the abundance that's already here, and knowing that here's another thing that this is really important. The things that we feel that we need the money for, or the reasons why we feel like that the money will give us, right? Those things, there's an infinite number of possibilities on how those things can come to us. An infinite number of possibilities on how those things can come to us. True story. I thought that one of the reasons why, when I was like, what do I need to do to get, to break this 6 figures, when I was in that space doing that, one of the reasons why I wanted to do that was because I wanted to invest in like this high-end mentor. Seriously, that was one of my biggest things. I was like, I wouldn't change my lifestyle so fast. I'd invest in this because I knew that if I had the right mentor, I can achieve all these other goals. And you know what? God sent me the high-end mentor, and I didn't have to pay a dime. And that's like those messages that we are abundant and the wealth is already here. So we want to look at and be open. Be open to the possibility that God is not limited in the ways that we see for things to come to us. Anything that we would want to buy with the money, or anything that we would want to do with the money. Just like you talked about, Chris, look at what an impact you're making. You're not giving those men a dime. So many of us, like, giving to charity is a huge thing to us, right? Look at how you're doing it, and you didn't have to give a dime, and you're changing people's lives. And the money that you are expecting and that is coming to you, rightfully so, you should expect it. The money that is coming to you, the timing of it has not prevented your impact at all. So anyway, that's all I have right now. So glad to see y'all.
We're so glad to see you. And, I love that, though. And it's that self-love, man. That is good. And we should all allow ourselves to receive. And we just never know how it's going to come to us, ever. And this is something, with being in third world countries here lately. And, I was talking earlier about, when I was in the Cayman Islands, I said, it's my first time I've been in paradise without the poverty. The Cayman Islands, I didn't see the poverty there. Most times when I've gone to tropical places, islands, Mexico, Cancun, or, Indonesia, Bali, and things like that, when you leave your resort, you are in extreme poverty. So you go from one extreme of the lavish, the marble, the all you can eat, the drinks, the, everything, just everything just comforts, right? Butlers, maids, right? All of this. And then you go 2 miles in and you're seeing moms wash their children in dirty water, and living on slabs, living on cement slabs, right? No running water, not toilets and things like that. And it's just like, wow. And so if ever we feel like that we are lacking in any sense, you know, just get on, look up National Geographic, just kind of look around the world maybe or something, and really to experience just like, you know, pictures. I always tell people too, if they're going back to cravings or eating bad food, I'm like, get on and watch documentaries about Food Inc., GMO, OMG, Knives or Forks, see what they're doing to all those, you know, livestock and what's going in your body and the food and the pesticides, herbicides. I'm like, put it in front of you, you know, so you can remember. We just all need those reminders sometimes. So that was a great share, and you really elaborated so perfectly on Chris and Cindy's share, because I mean, we're all relating so much to everything that everybody's sharing, because we're all experiencing those same things. I mean, I'm still like saying, where's my million? So I feel you. All right, we got Miss Stephanie has her hand raised. So good to see Miss K. We're so excited you're in LA, California, girlfriend. All right, let's see. Miss Stephanie, you're back.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey. I gotta make up for all this lost time. I missed the nights with you guys. No, what I was thinking when I was listening to Chris, I thought about how reminding ourselves and remembering that we already have it all. We already have it. We're not seeing it. We're not experiencing it because we're not in the right state. And it reminded me too that the action of giving is an exercise of faith, because it increases your faith to take that action to give, knowing that it's going to come back. So it's a way to express our faith in our knowledge and in our confidence that that law works and works in our favor in that way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, like, it was really funny because, like I told you today at church, this topic came up, giving, and I'm like, in gratitude. And I was like, oh my gosh, because we actually talk about faith as well. And I just saw how it all intertwines so beautifully together, because it's our faith in the knowledge that we know this is a law. It's irrefutable. It's undeniable. You can break it all you want, but that doesn't make it not work. You know, it still works. It works as you apply it properly. And so that act of giving is that expression of faith that you have, which opens you up to receive. And then not allowing, I think we're all very guilty. I don't know. I have been very guilty of giving from a half empty cup and pouring out and being empty when you're done, which really leaves you in a state of feeling, you can feel bitter, resentment, and you can feel shortchanged, which is that state so opposite of where we need to really be to experience the abundance that we desire. So it's been a challenging lesson for me to make sure that I have enough self-love for myself so that that cup runs over. So I'm still getting that flow going, but thank you, Kay. That was awesome. Thank you. Yes. As you can see, I don't know if you ever saw this post. I actually blew it up and it's framed in the middle of my wall.
I can't.
I straightened my crown.
Yeah. I saw
because I have to remember that I am that woman. I am that daughter of the universe, of God, that deserves all these amazing things. And he wants me to have them. Otherwise, why would he want me to want them? Like, why would I have the desire if he didn't really want to give it to me? Right? I mean, just saying.
Exactly. I love that. No, I agree. Everything you said, Steph. Love it. Beautiful shade. Miss Melody, talk to us.
Oh my gosh, I'm like sitting here going, there's so many ahas, but just amazing shares. Chris, Stephanie, Cindy, Kay, oh my gosh, so awesome. But you know what, I sat there and I thought about this, about giving, and first of all, the self-worth and understanding that there's nothing we can do. We're not, it's not like, I don't know, it's like, we are just deserving. Like Stephanie said, we're children of the air. We're the king. I mean, we're princes and princesses. And so, but I was like kind of reflecting back when I was doing real estate really full time, and I was making some really good commissions. And the faith I belong to, we believe in giving 10%. Well, when I made a commission of $1,000, it was like really easy for me to give $100. That was not a problem. I had no problem giving $100. But when I made $24,000 or $25,000 or more for a commission, I have to be honest with you, it was a little tougher writing that check. And yet the source that I was blessed because of my creator and who I believe in, blessed me to have those big sales. But all of a sudden my giving kind of changed, my thinking. It's easy to give 10 cents on a dollar, but is it easy to give 10% on 2,500? And I'm going like, oh my gosh. And so all of a sudden I have to look at my motives. What am I doing? Is all of a sudden money becoming such a huge factor? And that's exactly what I thought with the shares. All of a sudden money was preempting everything else. It was like the big thing. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? It's like,
oh, a ton of sense. Everybody's shaking their head like, yeah,
I'm
that's why
I'm going,
it's easy when somebody's sitting on millions of dollars to write a big old check.
I know. So so I'm going like, why would there be even resistance? Because it's like, it is true. It's the law. The more you give, the more you receive. So where's the check stopping at 2,400 or 2,500 or 3,000? Why would it even stop if we think about the mentality of it? It was just crazy.
Like, let's say, or at 300, why would we want to stop? Because it's just that fear in itself of, if our check wasn't 1,000, if it dropped down to 100, well, I better not give away this, $10, because I'm not making as much right now. I'll give it when I get it. But that right there just completely cut our fate. Just that accident, that feeling alone.
Thank you. Exactly.
So it's fascinating to start to understand this stuff.
No, it's crazy. I'm going like, oh my gosh. Thank you.
I love it. We got Miss K again. That was a great share, Melody. Yes, ma'am, Miss K.
Hey, Stephanie and Melody, you guys both brought like amazing thoughts to my mind. Oh my God, I loved hearing those things. Melody, girl, been there, done that. Been there, done that. Ain't going back. For real. This is, tithing, which I deeply believe in. I used to be inconsistent until I really began to understand the law of circulation and the law of abundance. And so I just wanted to share this because it really blessed me. When we really understand that God is love, and love is the self-givingness of the Spirit, then we understand that, and we see our entire life experience, like in the entire universe, we see this presence of love bursting forth in various manifestations of life. Remember, that's what the book talks about, is that we're all made of the same things, right? So just like we can see a beautiful flower growing from the center of a sidewalk, a crack in a sidewalk, like God loves to express. God loves to express. So when I give and I tithe, I am showing the universe, here is an opening for you to express yourself. Here is an opening for you to do what it is that you do. And where I am giving this seed, where I am giving this tithe, where I'm giving this offering, I am putting it here in this place because I am looking to further the self-givingness of the Spirit, the self-givingness of love, the good of God. That's what I'm promoting. And because just like if you don't stay on top of your garden, whatever it is that you let grow there will come and just overgrow everything there. When we show the universe that we are that opening, guess what? More and more of it will burst forth. More of that money comes forth. Yes, the checks will get bigger. True story. This is a true story. I literally remember tithing myself into a greater tax bracket. And let me tell y'all something. I remember when, as a divorced single mother who had not worked in 2 years since I had been home with my baby, and all of a sudden had to figure out how I was going to do these things by myself. I remember when my tithe was less than $1. But whatever it is that I got, I made sure that whatever God brought to me, I gave that 10%. And I literally saw it increase from dollars to hundreds of dollars and so when I saw that happening, I was like, oh, I ain't going back. You can have the 10% of anything. Yes, universe, look, I'll share all of the good that you sent through me, because I mean, I get to keep the 90 anyway and be flying fabulous and do whatever I want with it. So like really that delivered me so that I now have no problem giving and sharing and keeping it in proportion. You know what I mean? Keeping it in proportion, but just understanding that we become that opening, which means that we become what it is that we were created here to be, an opening for the goodness of God to express in every way according to our uniqueness.
Love it. And God, I mean, how much you're such a light, Kay. Thank you so much. I know everybody enjoyed that.
I love y'all.
I know, it's so good to have everybody. But think about this too. I mean, I'm sure, think about that, guys, when we're doing that and it's coming back. I mean, how joyful is it to give, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, let me give that 10%. Heck yeah, I can't wait to go give my 10%. I love tithing, instead of, oh my gosh, I got to tithe 10%. Like, I know I need to, but I really don't want to, and gonna be struggling. Or it's like, oh yeah, I get to give 10%. I might just do 15 this week. Like, then it's right. So getting to that place, and it's just the more and more abundance and more abundance and more abundance. So what a great lesson. I ain't never going back. I love how you put that. All right, we got Miss Chris, my girl Chris. You are unmuted. Or wait, no, I unmuted you and I muted you back. Hold, please. All right, you are unmuted.
I think I might have muted myself back. I thought I had to do my own. I just thought it's fun when you experience the difference of giving something away where it bothers you and you care about it, and then when you don't, like, you make the shift. And I think, sometimes it's difficult. Somebody was talking earlier about faith, to know, like, man, I really wish that I could give away this huge thing that I'm so attached to and have it not bother me, but you're not there yet, right? Like, it's just like, it's still, there's some reason you're holding on to it. You don't have the faith that you're going to get it back, or maybe you don't even know at the time about the law that, that you'll be getting something back for it. And then it's like when that one time happens where you like just let something go, which happened to me recently, just like a few weeks ago, with something that typically, like, if I would have given something away, I would have been like, ooh, man, I really don't want to get rid of this thing. And it was like nothing. It was like, who cares? And like, just the idea of like giving, like, just so somebody else is like smiling, like lights them up, like, oh my God, are you serious? And it's just like it's just stuff, like, who cares? It's totally fine. And so then I talked to this person just a couple of days ago, and they asked me the question, like, well, do you miss, because I was like, hey, how's that? Whatever. And he was like, well, do you miss it? And I was like, no, I don't. And like, I just thought back that it just wasn't that long ago that I would have been like, man, I think about it every time it crosses my mind. But I just, I think it's cool. And, I'm just super grateful of being able to kind of go through the process to really learn what that, truly feels like. And with tithing too, Kay, like, it's so true that like so many times people, you know, in church, including myself, it's like there has to be a reason or a justification, right? Well, I'm not giving my 10% because I know so-and-so out there just went and they're just going to go buy a car with it. And it's like whatever's going to happen on the other side, like you're concerned about. But if you give just because I'm allowing the universe to have an opening to react, to do something for me, then it's like, it doesn't matter about what anybody else is doing or what the church is doing with it or the pastor or whatever. It's like, that's all I got to do is my part. Casey, the party that we were at, and the guy was like, there's my part, there's your part, and there's God's part. And so it's like, as long as I do my part, all the rest of it is gravy. So it was a bit of a ramble, but just like this just kind of put me in that mindset of how it's just cool once you get to the point where like truly you could have like nothing of material value, you know, or money or whatever, but just have more fulfillment, like feel like you've got more than anybody else that lives in a freaking, you know, $1 million home and driving the cars and whatever. It's like, oh my God, I have so much more than you do. So that's it.
That's that wealth consciousness, you know, of just being of wealth too. And then the things come. And I don't know, and I'll just end it with this. I know we're at our time, but so many people are relating to that too. What you just said, Chris, just about you want to, but it's like, oh, am I going to miss it? Or we're just attached to things. Sometimes we're just attached to stuff, right? And there's that attachment to stuff, but in reality, it's causing us more stress, more stuff to move, to hoard, to polish, to clean, to keep up with and keep it nice and neat, yada, 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 right? Stuff can be very exhausting. And so to release that need for our stuff, at one man's trash, another man's treasure, you know, that's saying too. But I was with a gentleman who's writing a book right now and doing a movie, and I was connected to him. He's an Aussie, and I met him over in Australia. He was just with Michael Beckwith, I believe he was just in LA, and he was doing some productions with him. And you know, I was talking to him, and he said when he last looked, Bali, after me being in all that poverty, right? I was staying in the Four Seasons, and I leave the Four Seasons, and I'm just surrounded by poverty. Not just that, but dogs, cats, starving. You can see them, you know, all of that. The trash everywhere. I don't think they have a trash system, so there literally is trash everywhere. Even swimming in the oceans that are not kind of you're just, there's pools of trash, right, in this beautiful land. But they are ranked as one of the happiest people in the world. And you think about that. You think about that being one of his studies that he was doing, and why he lives in Bali. He says it's one of the happiest places in the world. And again, not on these resorts, but actually in the developing part. And so that just goes to show that wealth consciousness, but they do have that beauty. It is developing. And so just what a reminder about that, and how stuff and how really wealth can come in so many forms too. So I'm going to let Miss Kay finish with our final thought. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hog the mic after you said it was the last statement.
No, we're going to close it out.
But when you said and what Chris said, you know, really spurred such a thought. I mean, I really felt it was important to share. One thing, Chris, like first of all, oh my God, we so absolutely can develop these attachments to stuff. And I think it's important to be able to see it in the big picture, that really we live in a society that has cultivated an acquisitive nature within us. You know, like I've seen people like in the mall just walking aimlessly, looking like they're looking for something to want. Like, you don't even need nothing. You just want to buy something. Like, seriously, and thinking that that's how we are. And then, you know, we end up participating in consumerism in order to get a high, instead of actually going within and seeing what it is that our soul is truly calling for from us, and seeking out how to do that. And honestly, what we're really seeking for is a greater expression of who and what we are. which is love. But something that, Chris, that you said that I felt was so important, that I end up talking with a lot of my clients about, and that is sometimes when we have thoughts about, well, if I give this, then what are they going to do with it, and how they're going to be, and all these different things. Sometimes if we go deeper in there, we can uncover some limiting beliefs about people who are wealthy and people who have nice things. And if, because what is it in us that would have a problem with someone buying something beautiful? Like, honestly, I'm not trying to be funny at all, y'all, but really, I don't want a spiritual teacher that's broke, because I'm not aspiring to be that. So really and truly, you're going to have to exemplify prosperity in order for me to feel like you have something that, I don't know, that I want. If you haven't learned how to, actually speaking, Casey brought up Michael Beckwith, who that is my pastor, that is my teacher. That is why I had an intention to move to LA 5 years ago. I'm in a love stream of his for that 5 years. So, and something that I love that he says is, it's hard to be the light of the world if you can't pay your light bill. And I think that, really when we're giving and when we're tithing, if this is somewhere where we're being spiritually fed, it should be our joy to circulate our energy there and our financial abundance there, so that other people can be blessed with the blessing that we're being blessed with. And if that is a problem, then maybe you're not really being spiritually fed there, and maybe you need to look to be at another place where you're actually growing and thriving and flourishing. But honestly, when I give my tithe to Agape, I don't even care how they manage it. I don't care what they do. All I know is that I've been blessed there, and I'm happy to share that with other people. Pay your car note. I don't give a damn. I'm happy to pay that. I'm fine with it. But just to be able to be aware of those limiting beliefs, I think is a really important thing, because if we have a problem with another person having exemplifying a certain level of prosperity, that means that we can't allow ourselves to have that. So it's really important to be aware of that. And then, you know what? Oh man, it was something Casey said that spurred a thought in me, but you know what? I don't remember it right now. So I guess it wasn't for this moment, but I love you all. This is so beautiful. Even by us talking and having this beautiful dialogue, I just want to remind us all that we are transforming ourselves from the inside out. Oh, and there is one thing that I want to say too. And know that if you are looking for your money and you feel like, when is it going to come? Know that it does not mean that you're doing something wrong. I feel compelled to say that so often we put time limits on manifestations, and we should not. When we know that it's unfolding perfectly and we are in a vibrational match to our abundance, guess what? It's unfolding fine. You don't need to change. It doesn't mean that you are not allowing it just because it's not here right now. Your own unique path is unfolding perfectly. And the fact that we're here in this conversation on this meeting is evidence of that. You're prosperous, you're blessed, you're abundant. Because I can tell you, we definitely wouldn't be a vibrational match if it was not so. If you was looking for a sign, this is it. I do not hang with people with poverty mindsets. I just don't do it. So all of y'all are winners and champions. You're doing great.
You're cracking me up. Oh my God, that's funny. Not a vibrational match. Love it. Well, with that being our final thought, if you're looking for a sign, this is it.
I'm crazy, y'all. Sorry.
You might be able to make yourself laugh, even if you don't make other people laugh. As long as you're laughing, it's all good, right? If you're having the joy, so that's all that matters, is enjoying yourself. Laugh and enjoy ourselves. That's love right there, enjoying being with ourselves. So I love that. That was a great final thought. We will be back next Sunday on chapter 16. What is chapter 16? Gratitude. Seal and seal. I just circled everything because I was like, okay, just everything in this book. It's a really short chapter, but I know we can talk forever on gratitude, so that's exciting. So all right, guys. Well, All right, we will. So I'll put the recording in the group, and we'll see everyone next Sunday. Thanks, everyone, for
Blessings, everyone.